moms, they are doing double duty, taking on the majority of parenting duties, but also working full-time jobs. Stuff we know it, Marisol.
We are no stranger
Right?
to this notion.
Absolutely, this is our life. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics in 2019, mothers with children under 18 years old accounted for more than 72% of the labor force.
However, this double life could be hurting children, marriages, and moms, and experts are turning to the notion of equal parenting as a solution. Weighing in on this very notion is the author of The Working Mom Blueprint, Winning at Parenting Without Losing Yourself. Please welcome pediatrician and mom, Dr. Whitney Casares. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Betty and I, we feel this every single day of our lives. But why do you think that we as women are willing to take on the responsibility of a full-time job and do the majority of the parenting?
You know, I really think that women aren't willing to do it. I don't think that they want to be doing this, right? I think that it's more about the cultural norms, about the societal pressures that are there. Even in sophisticated households like my own, where we are both full-time professionals, it still becomes that I am the default parent the vast majority of the time. And there are a lot of reasons for this. One is just what's been passed down generation to generation. Also, there's a shame spiral that moms get into sometimes when they don't do it all and things aren't as good as they want them to be for their kids. And then also we know there's this idea of what's called maternal gatekeeping, which is where sometimes, you know, if a dad is giving a baby a bath, mom might be hovering over saying, don't do it that way, don't do it that way. And then dad might back up a little bit, you know, and then be less willing to kind of get in there and really be front and center.
Which is hard because then both sides feel like no one's winning here, right? But we are hearing these terms, equal parenting and parental equity. Is there such a thing, or is that just a dream that's out there?
I think the goal of equal parenting really is a myth. I think that there's no way to have equal parenting, and that in fact, when we go for the idea of equal parenting, it just builds resentment with our partners and can make things worse for us. Instead, I really am a fan of the word equity within partnerships. This idea of both parents pulling their weight on the big things and the little things. So not just that a dad is taking on a few of the light household chores, but really that he's in it with a mom in male-female relationships. And that really should be the goal, and it's way more realistic.
And to that point, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, because there are a lot of different co-parents, right? I'm divorced, but I still co-parent with something. And so if you agree that the 50-50 split is just simply not attainable, then how do you call on what you're really good at as a parent to keep the unit together so that both parents feel like they're contributing, but they're also, in your words, not losing themselves in the process?
Right. This is about treating our relationships with our co-parent or with our parent who is with us within the house really more as a business relationship, which I know sounds way less sexy and fun, but really is the way that organizations work best and that households work best. Sitting down, creating a list of these are the tasks that I will take on. These are the tasks that you will take on. These are the tasks that hold value for us, for our home and for our family. And then holding each other accountable. There's some great resources out there for parents in order to do this. But in my household, this happens on an every 3-month basis where my husband and I sit down, kind of grind it out, decide, okay, this is the thing I'm taking full ownership of. It's really important not to decide, I'm going to just share these tasks together. It really has to be that one person is kind of the CEO of each individual task.
But, you know, we got to talk about how that affects you mentally, right? Because it's one thing to physically do this, but there's the mental load that goes with that. And as Marisol was talking about, being able to share and communicate, which can be difficult here.
Yes, it's very difficult. I will say, even within my own household, this is difficult. We have had to take on this idea of compassionate assertiveness. So especially for me, right, as women, we're trained to kind of please and to just take it all on and to maybe push it down. But we know that leads to a lot of resentment for moms. And so this idea of being able to show up for ourselves and have some understanding of maybe the cultural norms that a dad is dealing with and kind of the tradition that's there and maybe other factors that he may be having on his mind, but also showing up for ourselves to say, no, I'm an individual person and I deserve to have time for myself, B, be in the best mental state possible, because we know that when moms are less stressed, when they are thriving, not just surviving, they are better parents, they're better workers, they're better partners. So it's better for everyone when we have that sense of sharing the mental load, even though it's really tough to communicate in that way.
Yeah.
It's 2021. How can we incorporate technology into dividing up the parenting duties? For example, I know my ex-husband is terrible with a calendar. So I've created a system, and then it takes the load off of him. He's like, I just have to input something that you've already created, and we avoid a fight, but we get something accomplished. So what are some other ways to use technology?
Yes, the same thing happens in my household. My husband is not the best at actually creating the shared calendar or creating the technology, but he's absolutely willing to use it. And it's great for both of us and does prevent more arguments. And so shared Google Suites, shared calendars, applications that allow you to have communication where you're on the same text string with in-laws, for example, when they're asking about birthday gifts or about coordinating vacations. Those are all great ways. I also have a very low-tech system in my family where we have just little whiteboards on our refrigerator where we have outlined what's happening for the week as a visual reminder that we use in addition to our shared calendars and our systems that are way more tech savvy. So I don't think it has to all be with technology, but thank goodness we live in 2021. I agree. Use what works for you and your family. And I want to just make the point that efficiency is important. The shared calendars are important for moms in terms of working with a partner and outside for a life that's more full, but it's not the full answer. It's just a part and a piece.
Yes. Yeah, it's a very big puzzle indeed. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's some great advice, though, because, a lot of it is that communication and trying to, get that load off of just you and make sure that you're not feeling like you're doing it all by yourself.